love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like with gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together till the grave. If the game till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We got all the fuck in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
we the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey there everybody, Meteorologist Tuttle back with you again. This is your Thursday lunchtime weather update. We'll talk here for about 10 minutes about the latest changes in the forecast for the remainder of today and next week. Since I'm still seeing a lot of talk of severe weather, we're going to find out exactly what the models do say versus what wishing for something says. So you come to the right place for that. So thanks for joining me on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I know you have the same issue sometimes that I do, which is really strange. I don't know why Facebook does this, but if you click on, like, Facebook will notify you when I go live, right? And you click on that link, and then it pops up my video. Sometimes it pops up yesterday's. I still do not know why they do that. It's obviously a bug in their system, so sometimes I have to wait a little while, and then I click on it, or open it up and go, this is going to be old, close it, and then go back to my page and reopen it, which is a pain. I don't know why that's an issue, but if you have ever experienced that, you're not alone. I'm just here to tell you, you're not alone. So I'm right there with you, my own problem. All right, so thanks again for joining me. Make sure you like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather, all that good stuff. Out there currently, man, it would be a nice day if it just wasn't so dadgum windy. Winds are out there, let's see, 16 miles per hour. I've seen gusts up over 30 here in my backyard, and that's going to continue. Of course, no rainfall. We've got temperature of 55 degrees, so it's a little cooler out there. It could definitely be a little warmer this time of the year. Yeah, it's not exactly perfect, but I guess we'll take it. It's better than being 100 degrees. I'll always say that. But needless to say, it's going to be some interesting weather coming up as the pattern starts to change a little bit. So let's take a look at that. First thing for the remainder of today, those winds will stay quite strong. So the maximum wind gusts so far have been up and around over 30 miles per hour here in central Oklahoma, up around the 40s. Out here in western Oklahoma, and that's pretty much where the strongest winds will probably reside. You can see out there currently this northwest breeze and winds gusting all the way from 20 to 30 central east, with those 40s out to the west, close to 50. And the models do indicate the strongest winds today will be picking up around the 50 plus category here in southwest Oklahoma, North Texas, and to the eastern Texas panhandle. Whereas Oklahoma City, once again, from about 35 to 45 miles per hour should be the extent of our maximum wind gusts. So keep in mind, a wind that is in excess of 58 miles per hour is like having a severe thunderstorm. In other words, it can do some minor damage. Okay, the other thing we had to talk about was the temperatures this morning. This was a rude awakening for some of you. So we've got some 30s out there this morning. A big stretch here from west central Oklahoma into northern Oklahoma. Also out to the north and west. 40s elsewhere, a few 30s sneaking in the low-lying valleys. What you're going to see here is rinse and repeat for tonight and rinse and repeat for Friday night, which means if you have tender vegetation, you're going to have to cover it because a frost or freeze will start to become a problem for many more of us as we head into those two time periods. But if you've been watching me for the last week, This is not news to you. Temperatures out there have recovered a little bit, we talked about, into the mid-50s, so not too bad there. Of course, a little bite when you got the wind so strong, but the atmosphere is very dry. So look at the dew point values, they're into the 20s, teens out in western Oklahoma. So when you factor in the temperature and the dew point together, you end up with relative humidity only in the 30% range. Much drier out in western Oklahoma, so that means you're going to have to drink lots of extra water and or use moisturizer to keep your skin on the moist side. All right, so here's a look at the dew point value. I want to show you how we're kind of stuck in this drier air mass through time, this through tonight, through tomorrow, teens and 20s and single digits at times. Where does the moisture return? Well, let's take a look here. There it comes. Finally getting some moisture in here, although it's pretty pathetic, by Saturday afternoon. So we'll start to change the pattern over the weekend as the Gulf of Mexico starts to open up and starts to bring back some moisture as we head into next week. That's because the upper level pattern is changing. So we'll get to that here in a second. Real quick, here's a look at the temperatures here expected for, by the way, this afternoon we'll be topping out into the low 60s, so not too bad there. The winds will still be quite strong. So we head into tonight. This is what I'm talking about, rinse and repeat, 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning, lots of 30s. And some 40s sneaking in. These little blue areas is where the models likes to try to bring in the freezing point in low-lying valleys. Of course, out in western Oklahoma into the Texas Panhandle. That's pretty much the same. As we head into the afternoon for Friday, looking pretty good. Kind of like today, but should not be as windy. Temperatures will be into the low 60s, so a little bit better way to round out the week. But then on Friday night and Saturday morning, look for those temperatures once again to be dipping down to the 30s and 40s. You can see a lot more blue on the map here across the state, in the valleys and the rivers, all that kind of stuff. Dipping down here in Oklahoma City, for example, the model says here 41 for Will Rogers. But if you go up to like Piedmont, you're at 31. So it's going to be a huge difference in temperatures all across central Oklahoma. So again, bring the plants in if you can. Otherwise, we will be warming up into the 70s by Saturday afternoon, close to 80 degrees. So Saturday looks like a great day. However, I'm sure the winds will return. Now here's a look at the severe weather threat for next week. This is from the Storm Prediction Center, and their job is to try to find out any potential for severe weather. They don't talk about the magnitude. They don't say historical level outbreaks. They don't promise gloom and doom. Their job is just to highlight where, if things come together just right, we might see some severe weather, and that's it. So this particular point, they've got it painted on the map here for you for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but you can see, very important here for Oklahoma City, put the little dot right there. Where is my dot? Come on, there it is. Do another little dot here, Oklahoma City, right, oops, a little north of there. My little dot just went crazy on me. And then it's really hard to make a small dot on this, I just realized. So let's reduce this one, and let's add another one. I need to make a dot icon. So anyway, the point being is you can see Oklahoma City is barely on the fringe of any of this stuff. It's mostly out to our east, the way things look right now, and that includes western Oklahoma being bone dry. Okay, so what all requires for this to happen? Let's take a quick look. Upper levels of the atmosphere. Jet stream pattern is going to show us the upper level energy moving through. Now currently today it's spiraling up there across the Great Lakes area. That's what's giving us the nice cold front with the nice strong winds. That moves on out of here. We replace it with a southwest flow that starts to develop out across the western parts of the country. We'll stop it at Monday evening. Storm system comes in across the Northern California area, and that is starting to put us into what we call a southwest flow aloft. And a lot of times you can get little disturbances that'll rotate on our bottom of this, for example, and they'll kind of rotate through, and sometimes they can cause some showers and storms. But you can see right now, if you look at the model itself, most of that is up here. All right, it is not near Oklahoma at all. This is Monday evening. So what the point is, in this first wave, there's not a whole lot of lift to work with. Let's see what happens as we head into the next time period for Tuesday. Oops, just passed it right there, Tuesday evening. Now the low has now moved a little bit closer to us, all right, and we're still in a southwest flow. But again, most of the real strong lift in the atmosphere is kind of confined in this region. So that does not include Oklahoma. So we have more weaker, subtle lift than we do stronger, brute force, dynamical lift. And that usually means you have to go off of just instability from heating and moisture and hopefully a weak cap if you want storms. Now, as we head into Wednesday, the system does get cranking finally here across the Central Plains, but by Wednesday afternoon, the trough axis, believe it or not, is already through like this, with most of the lift in this region here. So what this usually means when this kind of pattern stacks up is that your best probability for storms would kind of be something like this. All right. So as you can tell, that kind of clips eastern third of Oklahoma, but doesn't include central Oklahoma. So I'm telling you, the timing is very important. The track of these things are very important. Broad brush, we're all going to die a week out is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But today's social media, if it bleeds, it leads. It's just like the news business. If it bleeds, it leads. And if it doesn't look like it's going to bleed, you're going to make it bleed so that you can get people worked up about it. And I've already had some messages, people getting real anxious, anxiety. Just take a deep breath. Just watch what I'm telling you. All right, we're going to go to, here's another thing we can look at. It's a weakness in this pattern for Oklahoma. So on Sunday evening, we start to see the jet stream come in. These are the river of winds here at 500 millibars. So the brighter the colors, the stronger the speeds. As we head into Monday evening, let's check out where it is. All right, so I'm going to bound it up for you. So the jet stream track is kind of like this, right? It's up in this region. Well, if you notice, Oklahoma City is right about here, but you also notice most of Oklahoma is not underneath that jet. So it means we have weaker winds aloft, which is a deterrent for very strong, robust thunderstorm development. So we have a lot of negatives going our way right now in the data. Let's go to, so in other words, things are going to have to change dramatically to make it more historical level making for us. Now, so we head into Tuesday. Big strong jet out here on the bottom side of there below, which is normal. But once again, we're on the very fringe of the jet with a weakness in the wind fields across most of the state. I'm telling you, just based off the European data, unless this thing is completely out to lunch, there's not much going for us if you want widespread severe weather. Now, in other parts of the country, in different times, you're going to get some severe weather, sure. And on Wednesday, let's talk about that one real quick. So the jet is overlaid on top of Oklahoma, but like we talked about, unfortunately, the best lift in the atmosphere at that point in time for the other kickers and ingredients is now in this region. So we are now late to the party at this point in time. It's just too little too late. Therefore, we don't get anything here in central western Oklahoma on Wednesdays. So right now, that is kind of how this thing breaks down. And you can see why that now jives with the updated Storm Prediction Center, how they keep pushing it more to the east than what they had originally. Now, remember the dew point values? I talked about this broadcast at the beginning of that, how that was important for moisture. Let's take a look what happens here. All right, so we're going to go through time. As we head into Sunday, there was those dew points starting to return from the Gulf of Mexico. Stop it on Monday evening. And the bulk, where we have 60 degrees, or in other words, the air is a little bit better suited for tornadic development or very strong severe weather. It is now in the eastern third of Oklahoma and in Arkansas, and points in eastern Texas. So we have a dew point of 51 here in Oklahoma City. That's anemic when it comes to storms. So let's see what happens on Tuesday. Any better? No, we're 47. Again, Tulsa's 62. So Tulsa has a better opportunity of at least seeing some thunderstorms than Oklahoma City does with this pattern. All right, let's go to Wednesday afternoon. Same idea. And remember how I drew that box? Well, we don't even have the good, I think I had the box something like this, right? Just because of the dynamics in the atmosphere. But you still have to look at other ingredients. And if we look at the moisture profile, nothing going to happen up here, which means the only thing left in play is this region right here. And this, the farther south you go away from the upper low that's centered over here, your cap increases in strength. So you may not have much either here, but that's just a long ways away. But this is just, I'm giving you some examples of how things can just dramatically change all of the hype and just completely erode it. All that wish casting goes out the window. All right, so head after that period for the middle of April. I mean, the Gulf is shut down, folks, all up through the 22nd. All the decent moisture is down here in the south. This is unheard of. This pattern is ridiculous for severe weather. If somebody were to tell me the entire country would be shut down with dew point values in the teens and 20s for the mid-April, I'd have scoffed at them. I'd have laughed. I'd have said, that's impossible. There it is. Okay, so let's get a little bit more specifics here for the storm system. We use the European data for right now. It's been the most consistent. So I like consistency. I do not like the GFS model, which has gone from Katie bar the doors to bone dry, back and forth, this way, that way. I ain't got no time for that. So we use the consistency of the European, which has had everything just to the east, and the parameters not all that great. So we'll stick with that idea. All right, so let's just take a look at the forecast here. We'll go to the east side of the metro, so being the western fringe of this moisture axis. Here's the problem. The dew point values aren't very deep, so the air mixes out quite a bit, which you end up with a very strong cap as a result. Pretty dry in the atmosphere. And so the possible hazard type from the forecast output is none. The way it is. Now the shear's not bad. It's pretty decent with turning with height. So it would be adequate for severe weather and probably a tornado. But you can't just go off of shear alone. You have to have other ingredients. The cloud bases are way high, over a thousand meters in the air. So just good luck with that. So in other words, this model said for Oklahoma City. What about Tulsa? All right, let's go take a look at that. And again, this is Monday evening. It's got a strong cap in Tulsa. Nothing. It says nothing's going to happen. So that's an example of how you're looking that far out, whether or not storms will develop, given the situation. Will they? All right, let's go to Wednesday. Let's go 7 p.m. Let's see, it's 1 o'clock. All right, 7 o'clock has pushed all the instability out of the state completely. So it had to be an early show. All these arrows are all in the one direction, which means a linear type environment. So very difficult to get a tornado with a linear type profile here in our part of the country. The model is still going to try to go tornado hazard type. And right now, this is the first time it's actually done that, given the 3 days. But it's kind of like too little too late. So I would disagree with this just based off the shear profile and the photograph, because some of those other ingredients just don't quite line up. But that's just one model, and we'll see if things change. But this has been a very consistent model. So now that we know how we're lacking moisture, deep moisture, and we've got a pretty good cap, how does the model actually predict storm development? So let's go on into Monday. So there's Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock. It does produce a few thunderstorms, not many, and they're lined up from near Bartlesville through Tulsa into east central Oklahoma down to just east of Ardmore, and then those move off to the east pretty quickly over a 3-hour window, and they're gone. All right, let's go to the next day, Tuesday. Remember we had the same kind of situation. There's 4 o'clock. It's got a couple of thunderstorms trying to go on the east side of Oklahoma City. By 7 o'clock, looks like a cluster went south and east toward northeast Texas. And maybe something popped up here in northeast Oklahoma. That's it. This is a pretty lame output for storm development. On Wednesday, where's Wednesday go? There's Wednesday. Come on. 1 o'clock, nothing. So Wednesday, it's got too little too late. And then that's it. We do have a little bit of storm activity. I think it was on Friday. Yeah, this is on Friday in the morning hours. Just for a little weak disturbance that comes through. Watch that be the most important one of all, and it won't even be advertised. That's just the way the weather goes. But anyway, so there's an example of how you can do real forecast where you're not wishing for something, hoping for something, begging for something. You just look at the pure data and see where the data goes. All right, so we look at the blend of the models with this. It keeps almost all the rain east of us. Out of Oklahoma, which is crazy. Now the GFS originally had some precipitation as far west as this part of the state, and then it went here, and then last night it was here, and then now today it's now going over here, and I bet tomorrow it'll be over here. And so in other words, we're drying out from west to east with most of the action for the eastern third of the state, and then from that point eastward. And if we were to go ahead and take a look at let's do a regional view. So let's see, where is the precipitation? Where the models think the best shot of storms will be. All right, Arkansas, Louisiana. This is over, remember, a several-day period of all next week. This includes everything from Monday onward. So all the action it has well east of Oklahoma. I don't know, guys. I just give it to you like it is. So I know the TV guys get you all worked up. They've been doing it for the last 2 days now, but I just give it to you straight. So temperatures in the 60s today and Friday. Overnight lows, we talked about cold. Watch out for the freeze on Saturday morning here in the metro area. Otherwise, nice rebound, 79. Back into the 80s over the weekend, so looking good there. Overnight lows will come up a bit, so the Bermuda grass will love this, even though we may not get a drop of rain. It is possible. Not a single drop of rain in Oklahoma City. I hope that's not the case. I could use some rain. Anyway, we'll cool things down a little bit after that system departs, and then next week, the end of the week, pretty decent. Low 70s for daytime highs again, but the nighttime lows be a little cool. I got some plants that don't like it below 50. I think I'm just going to let them deal with it. Let's see how tough they are. That's how I'm going to go with that one. I'm tired of messing with them, bringing them in, bringing them out, covering them up. So ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's see here. Okay, let's go. I see you, Nate. Appreciate the compliment there. Cindy, thank you for the compliment as well. Katie, you too. So glad you guys are on the AT team. What do you think will be the last frost? Oh, man, that's a loaded question. So in my blog last Sunday, I mentioned Easter weekend, like around the 17th or 18th in the model data. And then the model data kind of changed a little bit and backed off some. But the fact that signal was there, you get to wait for it. Now, odds are probably mostly in northern Oklahoma, but we'll see. We'll tackle that a little bit later as we get closer into that data period because we're too far out to get that specific. But that would be the last time. After that, I don't foresee it happening again. So there you go. All right, listen, I'm out of time. I appreciate you guys watching today. Thank you as always for your support, liking, sharing this video, your Facebook fan subscriptions, Patreon memberships, YouTube memberships. All that stuff helps to pay the bills, keeps this operation up and running. So I'm very appreciative of that. All right, I can get out. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon, and we'll talk again soon. Take care, everybody.